Hey there, it's Jenny, and I am here today to share with you how I planned in my memory planner. There was a look at last week. These are all the stamps that I pulled out of my stash that I'm considering using for this particular week. There are a couple of them from Everyday Explorers, a couple of them from Studio Calico, and an older one from Feed Your Craft. I'm going to trim apart the photos that I already selected. You can see that this one is a 2 by 3. The rest of my photos are a little bit smaller. They're about 2 by 1.5, a little bit smaller than that. This one is larger because I wanted it to sort of stand out a little bit more. It was a little bit more important, so I wanted it a little bit bigger. Some of the rest of the photos are kind of small, so I am still sort of finding my footing on that. Really, honestly, I could have probably fixed that by zooming in on the photos when they were in the frame, but I didn't. So live and learn, and I will learn from that next time. I am going to place them down where I want to go. This week there's a little bit more playing because it doesn't feel like I have as many photos, or it all fits a little bit better than usual. And so there's a little bit more playing with placement. I do like to put the photos on the day that they happened if that's possible. It's not always possible. Sometimes the design doesn't work out. Sometimes there's too many. Sometimes it's a picture of a pet, and so it doesn't really matter what day it was on, like if they're just sitting on the couch or something, because obviously that's fairly ordinary and not really day specific. Otherwise, if I can make it work, I like to have them be on the date that they occurred, just because then it helps with the day-to-day documenting and keeping track, which is why I'm doing this in the first place. So I do also overlap the photos. You can see right there, there was some dead space on that bottom photo, and so I covered it with the top photo. Helps me save a little bit of room, helps it look a little more interesting. And those photos, like where there's some dead space that the photo, it doesn't, like where I'm covering up doesn't matter, it's totally cool. It's no big deal. So now I have the whole layout. The left-hand side is very light on photos. I just didn't have one for Monday, and then there's that notes section. So I'm going to add the dates. I'm using the tiny little date stickers. This is going to be a rainbow layout. I was missing it. Sorry, can't help myself. And so I decided that I was going to just do red for Monday, orange for Tuesday, and so on and so forth. So I just place them right underneath the day. It works out fine for me. I don't mind that at all. I am not particular about those types of things, so it works out great. All right, so now we're all dated. We have all the photos down. So that is the basic beginning, or my foundation, if you will. Now I'm going to pull out these stickers from Chrissy Ann Designs and put down the boxes where activities occurred this particular week. So I will use a couple of push pins as well to go along with the places that I'm going to write directly on the page. I'm not using any highlighter this week. Since this week is going to be so stamping heavy, I figured it was okay to just leave it be and let the creativity all focus on the stamping. Not to say that using a highlighter is creative, because it's not really, but you get what I mean by the color, and I was just trying to let the stamps really sort of stand out. So as I lay the boxes down, I am sticking to the rainbow order of things. So for example, on the orange day, I used an orange box. On the yellow day, I'm using the yellow box. You get it, just to keep with that overall rainbow design. Rainbows are a great way to use up stash as well. That's not what this is. Obviously, I'm stamping this week, which I mean, I guess is using my stash. But they're a great way to use up stash. Use up leftovers, use up little scraps or bits that you have left over, just because you only have to focus on a color palette, and you may only need one blue sticker, right? Or one blue item. And so you don't need an entire kit for it to work. I really love it. I think it's a great way to be a little bit more creative, because you can reach for different things that maybe you wouldn't ordinarily reach for. I'm trying to vary the different box stickers that I use. I have several different styles from Chrissy Ann Designs. I love a wide variety of them. The one that I used on Thursday, the green box, is probably my most favorite. I don't know what it is about it. I just really like it. And I like that the color is darker on the outside and then the inside is still colored, because with the white background of paper, give me more color. I love it. And these boxes really help out a lot too. And they're all very pretty colors. So I'm using a Pilot permanent marker. I've had it and probably been using it for the last 5 or 6 years. It's sort of ridiculous how long it's lasted, but it's still working and I love the tip of it. So it's, like a felt point tip, just basically like an ultra fine Sharpie, but I do really enjoy this one. So one last little activity, which was the Super Bowl. So I'm writing that right there next to the push pin. I wanted to keep this simple because I'm going to stamp a Super Bowl stamp and also use some alphabet stickers right there. So I just wanted to keep it as simple as humanly possible. And so the push pin helped me do that. Taking the pages out of the disc so I can now really get down into the stamping and the journaling as well. So you can see I've got those laid out side by side right there. And I'll probably start working over in the Sunday box, just sort of going backwards, if you will, like for journaling and for adding stamping and those types of things. I don't know why. I guess it just the most recent feels the most where I should start this week. I'm looking through my Studio Calico alphabet stickers. The focus is not on the font, the focus is on the color. I knew that I wouldn't have every color in every one of the fonts of stickers. This is my least favorite font, but I have all of the colors in this font. So that's what we're going with this week. So right here I am spelling out Derby. My husband and his friends do a remote control demolition derby at halftime of the Super Bowl. And that's what this photo is of. I document it every single year because I find it to be incredibly hilarious and it's definitely very noteworthy. So I've added that right there. Now I'm also going to use, this is the little Super Bowl stamp. It's from the February Studio Calico stamp set. I'll link it up below. It's such a versatile stamp. I have all 12 of them for each of the months and I find myself using these over and over and over again. And like the little Super Bowl is just so adorable. So I love it right there on top of writing that down. So now I'm going to clean this off. I just sprayed a little bit of the stamp cleaner on the stamp and then wiped it off on the microfiber towel. It's probably about time just to choose a new one, not because it really matters, honestly. I think that microfiber cloth would clean stamps forever, but I like to switch it up every now and again and wash the old one and pull out a new one. All right, so I've pulled out another stamp and I am going to just use this Stamp Market Tropic ink pad and stamp that right there above. It says this moment, and that is of my dogs having ice cream for the one dog's birthday. And so I just wanted to sort of bring attention to that and have the stamp up there as well. Now we're going to start journaling. So I've pulled out my magnetic self-healing mat and my ruler, and I'm going to start adding lines. So again, because I'm letting the focus be on the stamping this week for any of the decorative elements, I'm just using the black pen to draw the lines. I think that helps keep it simpler with just all of the stamping action going on. I didn't want it to be too entirely chaotic. So that's why I'm just going ahead and using the pen directly to the page. So like that little tiny bit of journaling is just about the photo above it, which I think is really fun. I don't always do this often. I just add big blocks of journaling, like that is sort of a overview of the week, if you will, like a couple of sentences about the whole week. But there's a couple of little spots this week where I am journaling about specific occasions or activities, and I think that's really fun too. Now this is one of those Studio Calico boxes. I like it because it looks really hand-drawn, but it still looks like a label. I'm going to go ahead and clean it off right there. And then I'm going to use one of those Everyday Explorers prompts to stamp in the center. Looking back at it, I wish I'd added a third stamp, but the cool part is I'll do it next time. So I just add with a darker green color in the center just for it to stand out a little bit more. All right, so now that I've added that, I can see what I have room for journaling wise. I have a fairly large story I want to document right here. So I'm going to go ahead and add lines directly all the way from that block over to the right hand side. And I just add a bunch of lines that I think will work. And I always feel like if I write too little, it's fine. I can come up with something else to say about whatever I'm writing about. And so I want to make sure I add as many lines as I can or that I think that I might use just because I will probably need it. So I'm just telling the story of Wednesday. And so I'm writing that all out right there. And then I realized that I could probably use another line to finish up right there. So I just added one more and continued it right there. And it worked out great because there was still just a tiny bit more room. Now, when we move on to the left-hand side, we are going to do the same thing that we just did. There's going to be a lot of stamping, there's going to be alphabet stickers, and there's going to be journaling as well. So I'm going back through the Studio Calico alphabet stickers and looking for, I need lavender, and then I will eventually use red and orange as well, but I'm going to start with the lavender. So they're going to go down at the bottom, and I'm going to spell out Dog Beach. If you've been here for a minute, I've been taking my dogs to the dog beach for several years now, and I pretty much think it might be my favorite place on earth. I'm not even joking. Like, I'm not exaggerating. I'm not nothing. I love it. I love it so much. And so I am just adding Dog Beach at the bottom with the lavender because the Saturday box, if you will, is the lavender box in my rainbow arrangement. So I've just gone ahead and spelled that out right there. And then up above, I will fish out a red alphabet sticker book or alphabet sticker sheet, I'm sorry, and then a orange sticker sheet because it goes from the Monday and the Tuesday. So I'm going to spell out dog with the red and then, or I'm not dog, oh my gosh, Dell with the red and Mar with the yellow, or oh my gosh, orange. Can't stop. All in all, I actually really love how this turned out. I wasn't sure if it would be for me or if it would be my type of thing, but I think it's really cool. So I've just spelled that right there, spelled out Delmar, and then I accidentally sort of pulled the paper away from the backing of the sticker in the R. So I'm going to have to use some glue to adhere those back together. I mean, I don't have to, but I just figured I might as well go ahead since I had some. Now I'm going to use this big Catherine Pooler rainbow stamp. I used this a few weeks ago as well, but I really like it. I think it's a really fun stamp. So I'm just going to use the black VersaFine ink and stamp it all up. And then I'm going to press it down on the paper in the Monday and that little note section, giving it even firm pressure. And you have to be very careful with that with larger stamps to make sure that you get firm pressure throughout the entire stamp. So you see I've got that right there. It's so cute. And now I'm going to just see where I can add little more things. I know I want to say something about the dog beach, and so I'm thinking, can I fit that little tag over there? That's one of the really cool parts about the clear stamps is that you can see where they'll fit from just up above. Now, just a note about the lighting in case you're like, oh my gosh, what is going on? It is a sort of a sprinkly rainy day here, and so the sun is going in and out of the clouds, and so it's just changing the lighting on my desk. Like, just literally from that, I film right underneath a window, and so yeah, it's kind of crazy, right? But that's what it is. It's just the natural light and the sunshine going behind the clouds. So now I'm going to stamp this big label. On one half, I'm going to put red ink, and on the other half, I'm going to put orange ink. And I've never actually done this before, so I'm hoping it turns out the way that I envisioned. There's no reason why it shouldn't. It should be fine, but you know how that goes. Sometimes things just don't turn out. And as luck would have it, it worked out just fine. So now I can clean this stamp off and get to work. I wanted to add a lot of journaling inside this box. I think it's a really cool box for that. There's actually a couple of cool stamps that can go inside, like to create lines or patterns, and I think that's really neat as well. But I had a lot of things I wanted to say inside the box, so I didn't need that. Okay, so now I'm going to put the healing mat away because I'm good for right now with the journaling. And I'm going to pull out my Prismacolor colored pencils. I don't always use the Prismacolors, but I love them because they're just such a high quality pigment and they just turn out so beautiful. So I'm coloring in a circular motion. I feel like it gives the smoothest appearance with the colored pencils. And I'm trying to stay kind of light because in the little scalloped part, I'm going to press harder to give more pigment to that little scalloped part. Just going to work my way through all of the colors here, starting with the red, then going to the orange, the yellow, the green, and then that last little center part is going to be purple because I am going to color the cloud a light blue. Now we all know clouds aren't actually light blue. However, when I have a white background, it just makes it a little bit more fun if I have a little bit of color there. So I've decided that light blue it is. As you can see, I only have a small set of the Prismacolors. There might be 24 here. I'm not really sure. I think there's 24. And it serves me just fine. I don't really usually need more colors. Now I needed to sharpen my light blue, and I'm going to go ahead and write in script love in the cloud. I wanted to try this out and see what it looked like when I was finished. Again, I'd never done this before. So I'm not writing super hard, just a little bit harder than I'll color. And so I just did a little script writing the word love. And then I'm going to go through and in my circular pattern, I'm just going to color very lightly throughout the big cloud. I'm hoping that you'll still be able to see the love, that it won't be like crazy pronounced, but that you'll definitely still be able to notice it. And as luck would have it, it is working out just fine. I really am super happy about the way that it turned out. I didn't know if that would look cool or not, and I'm very pleased with it. I'm also highlighting the edges just a tiny bit more, like pressing a little bit harder around the edges just to give that a little bit of definition and a little bit more interest, but really just a very minimal amount because I'm not trying to have it be super obvious. Now I'm thinking I want to add one more stamped little label. And so I'm also thinking about, well, could I do something else? Like, what should I put in here? I mean, there's just so many choices, and I only pulled out like 4 or 5 stamp sets. So that tells you anything. There's just so much to choose from. I mean, each set of stamps has so many images on each one. So I'm going to clear off this last stamp, and then I'm going to pull out the label that I decided to use. And again, these are all very hand-drawn looking. They're so cute. I just absolutely love that. It makes it feel really casual, which I think is important, at least for me, because I'm not trying for it to be super formal or anything like that. So it's just a little red label, and then I'm going to use the red February script stamp from that February stamp set from Studio Calico, which I love, by the way, and I use all the time. And I just use the little script February and stamp it inside the box as well. And I just like the way that that looks. I would have preferred that these be 2 different colors, but based on the design of the page, I have to have them be the same because I wanted that whole box to be red. So now I'm going to add just the tiniest bit of detail. There's one little stamp that has a couple of rows of dotted lines on there, so I'm just going to add that right below the February as well, just to make it a little bit more interesting. That's it. I've only got one more stamp to go, and that is it for me. Thanks so much for stopping by and watching. I really do appreciate it. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment box below, and I will do my best to get back to you. Thanks so much, and make it a great day.